a remarkable story of a Ladywood man, Ron Needle, who was a rear gunner in a Lancaster bomber in World War II. He has an extraordinary tale to tell about what happened to him in 1945.
It was about 8:10 at night when we crashed into this forest, and again it's in the book, but we'd actually turned upside down over Munich, and because we'd nearly been hit by one of our own Lancaster bombers. But again, the pilot managed to right the plane, but in the melee they ditched the bomb hatch, and cold icy air was coming in, and then suddenly I do remember being thrown forward, and then I lost my consciousness for a number of hours, and when I came to, my parachute harness had caught on the fuselage and pulled me back, and that had actually saved my life. Well, all I could see was the shell of the aircraft, no wings on, trees knocked down, on fire. The plane was still on fire in bits, but I'd crawled away far enough from the plane. I was never in any danger of being burnt. I'd got little burn marks on my hands and that, but I was lucky. I was at the back end of the plane, and it was all the front where all the petrol was. The petrol had obviously broke off from the tanks and set fire to the forest. But I was fortunate enough to be unconscious, and when I came to, most of the fires were out. Although the ammunition was exploding, because inside there is an ammunition rack that feeds into the rear turret, for me to use the guns. But they were popping away on fire. But I didn't notice that so much. It was a matter of, I'd got to get out of the aircraft, and I was very lucky to do that. And I crawled out into the snow, thinking I was the only one alive because I'd been unconscious for a long time. And then I heard bells ringing from a church, and I started to crawl out in the direction of these sounds of the bells ringing. And then I got by a tree, and I lay by the tree and kept shouting, "Help, help!" And then looking across, I saw some French people coming to me. They took my flying boot off and gave me a drink and looked after me, nursed me, till an ambulance came. And then I learned that Harry, the wireless operator, the only other one that was saved, he was sitting by what they call the astrodome. That's a perspex astrodome that he used to look out and take readings from the stars. And actually that perspex dome melted onto him. It melted onto him, and he crawled up there onto the wings, and the wings had by this time, broken off, and he fell to the ground, and he went wandering about into the village, and eventually came to a little hut where they kept sheep, and the sheep was in there, and then he went in there with the sheep to keep warm, and eventually a farmer came with a pitchfork. I thought he was a German, but then they realised he was English, and they looked after him. 43 years afterwards, my brother-in-law said, "Come on, Ron, we'll go and find this village where you crashed." I knew that we was crashed at a place called Maligny-le-Grand, but that's English. So I was asking the gendarme in French, Maligny-le-Grand, and they were just going, "No, no." So we eventually got to this village. So we knocked on the door of a house and said to a young lady who came, "Can you speak English?" And she said, "A little." And then a few minutes later a tractor comes up with Andre on it.
So what have we got here, Ron?
Well, that is a kite tin that was made by Andre, the man who saved my life, the bell ringer, and he actually made this kite tin from the plane that was crashed in the forest. The villagers went and collected all the aluminium they could and made certain things. So it was, some of the wreckage was made good for them.